All right, guys, so we have an update on the Celsius legal situation. Now, this isn't legal in the sense of filings or things like that. This is legal in the sense of the cost of the legal and financial advisory team that Celsius hired to handle the situation. And it is enormous. This was the basis for the argument for the entire Voyager deal that Sam Bankman-Fried was proposing to Voyager. If you remember when we made that video, Sam offered a deal to Voyager and basically Voyager's customers to allow them to withdraw their funds prior to the bankruptcy finalizing because he was worried about the legal fees eating away at the funds that the depositors were going to be able to get back, which is a very valid argument. Now, whether he was doing this in a way to take advantage of them or not, I mean, I'm not calling it a good deal or not. That's totally up to you guys to decide. But as far as the legal fees go, they're absolutely no joke. And I'm going to go over the numbers of Celsius's legal fees here, which are just, again, my mind is just blown. And again, remember, guys, any money that is taken away via the legal fees is money that does not get paid out to the depositors. So legal people, financial advisors, all get paid first. Then whatever's left of the pie gets divvied up and given back to creditors and depositors. So again, remember that. So we've got a tweet here from Wazzy Lawyer. It says Celsius forecasting $33 million in restructuring related fees, probably payable to legal and financial advisors over the next 3 months. In a Chapter 11, professional advisors always win. And he quote tweets a tweet from Kareem. I think I said that correct. New detail on bankrupt crypto lender Celsius's finances. 1. The company is burning an average of $46 million over the next 3 months. Now, he says over the next 3 months, but he corrects this down below. That is $46 million per month that Celsius is burning, okay? That is so much money. That is a ridiculous amount of money. And if, again, going back to that last video where we were talking about Voyager's deal and Sam and Voyager's deal, they mentioned that their concern was that legal fees could get into the very high 9 figures. And this explains why. I mean, $46 million a month for a business like Celsius, that is a ton of money, especially when you're talking about a company that's going bankrupt. So it's not like they have a ton on hand in the first place. This is eating up a massive chunk of their available funds. So pretty crazy to see. And again, that's only if it takes 3 months. If it takes 3 months, they're going to be just north of $130 million in legal and financial fees. But if it takes any more than that, every month it takes after that is another $46 million, and also barring any additional teams that they need to bring on. So that is just a crazy number to me. 2, customers gave Celsius 100,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so Celsius was given 100,000 Bitcoin. It now has only 15,000 Bitcoin and 23,000 WBTC, a Bitcoin derivative. So for those of you who aren't aware, WBTC is just wrapped Bitcoin. So what that is it's Bitcoin that can be used mostly on Ethereum. That's like the big use case for wrapped Bitcoin. It's equivalent to 1 Bitcoin, at least at the time of me making this video, and barring any crazy situations with WBTC, you can just assume that it has the same value as 1 Bitcoin. So in this case, they started, and I've got the math here. So Celsius started at a price of $24,000 per Bitcoin, which is what we're at as of this moment. That's $2.4 billion. Okay, so the 100,000 Bitcoin minus any deviations in the Bitcoin price, because obviously this is worth a lot more than $2.4 billion at the peak of the cycle. So we're not going to take into account the investment side of this, but they started with, at today's price, $2.4 billion. They're down to $912 million in Bitcoin. They're down 62% on their Bitcoin that they were given by depositors. So that's massive, okay? So if we look at those numbers, it looks like after legal fees and everything else, that depositors might only be able to get back like 25%, so literally a quarter on the dollar, just depending on how the whole legal breakdown, the bankruptcy breakdown goes. Again, keep in mind that some creditors are prioritized over others, so they can get a bigger piece of that pie. So some people might get even less than a quarter. These are just estimates. These aren't the exact numbers, but that's, again, running through the numbers in my head. That looks like where it'll land, which is crazy. We also get these these consolidated cash flow forecasts from Celsius, which are crazy. It shows this breakdown. This is how they're able to estimate the legal fees, because you can see over time here in August, they're estimating their liquidity to be at 66. What is this in here? I believe it's in the, okay. So 66 million, then it goes down to 11 million, then we're down to negative 33, almost 34 million, and another negative, or excuse me, the total at a negative 34 million is what they're estimating their cash flows to be by the end of October, which is when it looks like they're hoping for the legal everything to get figured out here. So that's a lot. They're going to go into the negative. They're going to go negative 34 million on their cash flows, which is pretty nuts. I'm not sure what. Oh, this is liquidity. So this isn't necessarily the cash flow itself. They're already negative on the operating cash flow. Their net cash flow is way negative. So no surprises there. But again, just really crazy to see how expensive those legal fees are. So I wanted to bring this up to show you guys, what we can sort of expect from not only Celsius, but again, Voyager and all others affected by the 3AC collapse. This is obviously going to be a huge part of that whole process, because again, it's not like we're talking about massive companies. Like, it's not like Apple going bankrupt and a few million here or there is no biggie. Like, these are companies that were okay in AUM, but not that crazy, and obviously they're in really big trouble if they're going bankrupt, obviously. So this is a big chunk. This is a really big chunk of their AUM that is going towards these legal fees. Again, it was really surprising to me, so I wanted to share it with you guys, and I'll continue to follow this along as we get more information. As so far, it's been really slow to develop, just because it is in the legal stages of things. So they're just handling all the legal documentation, the filings, etc. So we're still waiting to hear more on the stories of not only 3AC, but everyone that was affected by the 3AC collapse. So guys, if this is your first video, please like and subscribe, and with that being said, I will see you guys next time.